All right, the first quad exercise we will be tackling is a single leg squat. So we're gonna take our band, throw it over our shoulder as so, and then we're gonna get to a dominant foot position, so have that one leading leg, and then we're gonna put the other leg back about 1.5 to 2 feet back. It'll vary depending on how long your legs are. And from here, what we're gonna do is focus on loading this front leg. So we're gonna come down, this leg is just there for support. Load that front leg nice and slow, keeping the tension of the band over like the mid portion of the leg here. That's gonna allow us to really hit the quad and keep emphasis on it. Let that knee track, stand all the way up at the top, lock out, and repeat the process. The second movement is gonna be a heels elevated squat. So normally a lot of folks are hip dominant when they squat and they're not actually utilizing their quads. So to shift emphasis on the quads, we're gonna really push those knees forward and allow us to hit depth and really make sure we're maximizing our quads. So put the band on as normal. Now, when you step back to a heels elevated surface, if you don't have like lifters, for example, be careful when you step, that band can snap off, so proceed with caution. From here, let those knees track as normal. I like to keep my arms out in front of me. It helps me keep my chest up more as if I'm like holding like a Zercher squat or any anterior loaded squat like a goblet. So we're gonna lower slowly, 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 keeping that band tension over the mid portion of the leg. Nice and slow, hit depth. Stand up, lock out. To make these tougher, you could do 1.25 reps, you could add pauses, tempos, but by shifting more emphasis forward, we're able to target the quads a little bit better. The next exercise is gonna be a rear foot elevated split squat, also known as the Bulgarian split squat. So pay attention because how we get into this is huge. So we're gonna establish the band around our foot and body position first. So put it around, and then what we'll do, lean forward, put that foot up, and then get into position. Trust me when I say this, don't try to put it on your foot while standing and hop back and finesse it. Just like resist the urge and don't end up on one of those gym fail videos. So from here, we can stand up, get our position with our foot. So if you need to hop out, you can. Hop in, you can. The band is already around, so the chances of it snapping off way lower. So from here, nice and slow, land that knee track, hitting depth. And my advice is to find a height similar to like what a couch usually is, a couple feet. You don't want it too high, and also you want it to be a little bit soft just so it doesn't punish your ankle, especially if you're not wearing shoes like myself. So you can put a pillow around like a chair if you need to, or like a table, or even like some form of padding and so forth. But that is the key to the rear foot elevated split squat when using a band. It's all about how you get it on and off to not snap yourself in the face. All right, the next variation we're gonna do for quads is a single leg box squat with a band. So my advice again, sit down and put that band on before you stand up. Take about like 6 inches to about a foot off of the couch. We're gonna stand up. Now, as opposed to doing like a traditional pistol squat kind of formation when we're doing this, I find that what ends up happening is a lot of clients end up snapping down if you don't have a good pistol on lock already. So what we're gonna do instead, stand up, take that B squat position, B stance. So have this foot out in front of us. And then from here, slowly lower down, let that knee track. And when we stand back up, avoid that urge to rock. So similar to a box squat, we want to keep ourselves pretty true with the stand-up process. So we can keep the work in that dominant leg. Now when it comes to where to displace your weight, I like to say like 80 to 90% on that planted leg, 10 to 20 in that offset leg. This leg is just for stability purposes. So keep that in mind as you do these, and a way to make these tougher is to add time to your eccentric, so really control that movement down, and then resist the urge to rock. It's gonna put a lot more work into your quad. The next variation we're gonna cover is a 1.5 rep split squat. So as opposed to just showing you a split squat, like most of you already know how to do, I'm gonna show you a variation that's gonna increase the difficulty slightly. So when getting into your position, you can either put the band on like normal, or you can go to one knee, put it around to so, and then we're gonna take our normal split squat position. From here, we're gonna go down, thinking slowly lower, come up halfway, keeping tension in the quad and the glute, come back down, and complete the full rep. That means 1.5 reps, so half, full rep. And this is a fantastic exercise for increasing the difficulty of the traditional split squat, but also upping our time under tension. Plus, it helps us focus on the stability aspect of this unilateral movement. So if you want to target and increase your difficulty for the split squat, try a 1.5 rep variation. The next exercise we're going to cover is the single leg RDL. So we're going to put that band around as so have it cross your body. The reason I don't like having it around the neck is because, especially if you're working with a lot of tension with bands or a really thick band, you can somewhat lose your torso integrity, plus it's just really uncomfortable. So I like to just go across. It makes life a little bit easier. So we're going to take a nice staggered position here with our feet, and then we're going to focus on really hinging at the top, letting that band pull us forward. If you want, you can put a hand around that band to make sure it doesn't snap down in your neck, and so my hands are just holding. Going to how you're doing. You want to get in on this? So we're going to hinge, focus on letting that hamstring stretch at the top, stand, fully extend the hips, and proceed as so. To increase the difficulty here, you can slow down the tempo and so forth. And then on that planted leg, again, think about like 80% of the work, 20% of the work is just here stabilizing in the offset leg. Try that variation out, it's fantastic for your hamstrings. It's also an awesome warm-up exercise if you're normally training with a barbell and so forth. Next exercise to target the posterior is a single leg deadlift. Now this is a variation that I've taken from Dr. Davidson, so shout out to him for putting this out on Instagram and showing everybody how to do it. So we're taking about 1 to 2 feet step away from the wall, planting that back foot against the wall, and then from here what we're gonna do is lower down. And a good way to think about this is like, pretend you're holding 2 dumbbells, right? Or a kettlebell. I've actually talked about this variation before in one of my kettlebell glute exercise videos. But what we're gonna do is turn the torso slightly, so as if we were holding a dumbbell straight, it's gonna come over that front foot, and we're gonna bring this leg in, and stand up as so, extend to the top. And again, nice, slow, and easy. We're gonna pretend as though we're turning so those knuckles are covering the toes. We're having this knee come in at the top. We're gonna stand, and I'm telling you, your glutes are gonna be on fire, even if you're using a lighter band. Focus here is on these tiny details. Really helps to pretend you're holding weight here, to turn, and then as you come up, stand and extend. Try this variation out. It is a killer for the glutes. Let me know if you have any questions on it in the comments below, but also check out the kettlebell video if you want to see a variation with kettlebells done with this exercise. Another good single leg deadlift variation, or even a normal deadlift variation if you have a heavy enough band, is to put the band down as so, step onto it with one of your dominant legs, try to step right in the middle of that band, and then from here, slowly lower, slowly lower, slowly lower. Nice hinge, boom. It's like an easier modified way to still target the posterior, and it's not nearly as complex as some of the other single leg variations out there. So if you haven't had enough band, this is gonna be way more beneficial for you. And if you are a beginner, even just focusing on the deadlift itself, having that band under the feet, place it around the midfoot, similar as if you were holding a barbell, and then stand as so. And then if you have a shorter band, you can pretend like you're in a trap bar deadlift. Start low. The big thing here is to make sure you're controlling the weight and the band isn't controlling you. So really paying attention to your eccentric mechanics, making sure you're hinging correctly and so forth. If you're using the lower band, make sure you're actually sequencing the knees and hips accordingly. But that's an awesome variation if you are trying to learn a deadlift, or if you just want more variations for single leg training. All right, the final variation we're gonna cover is a single leg RDL, where we're not having any level of support from the opposing foot. Now, for this variation, similar band position where we're gonna cross the body, but what we're gonna do is on that planted leg, I want you to hold on to either a wall, a couch, or some point of reference where you can get a decent grip and stability from it. And from here, we're gonna then proceed through our normal positioning. And what we're gonna think about is, as this band is on us, we're gonna resist that urge to open the hip. So keep that hip nice and closed and parallel with the floor. And the big thing here, and why I like having a support, is a lot of times when we put that band on, a lot of people don't have a strong single leg RDL to begin with. So that's why I do like doing variations where you are creating some level of stability from either the opposing foot or an external object. There's no shame in that. Trust me, you're probably gonna feel it a little bit better by holding a point of support, so then you can slow it down and actually focus on what your hips are doing. So give that one a try if you're trying to target the posterior, but also level up your stability. Hopefully this video helped you out and gave you some variations you could start doing at home with the resistance band when you're trying to target the quads, glutes, and hamstrings. As most of us start heading into lockdown 2.0, I think it's going to be really important to stay strategic but also honest and consistent with our training to continue to level up our gains. Some easy ways to make band training harder. Number one, add 1.5 reps. It's a great way to increase time under tension and focus on your movement integrity. Another way to increase the difficulty if you are capped by your band's resistance is to add tempo. So focus on your eccentric, so lowering portion, pauses at the bottom, and concentric, so lifting portion of the movement. Slow those down, really focus on what you're doing and how you're moving. And then also another way to increase difficulty is to decrease your levels of support. So if you notice throughout this video, we did a lot of unilateral training options, and that's because they are a little bit more difficult than bilateral training options. So I didn't want to include basic things like the air squat and so forth, because we all know that we can do those with a band and our own body weight. So hopefully these variations gave you some levels of creativity that you can now implement into your training. Expect more body weight and band training videos coming in the near future. A lot of our members in Physique Lab are limited right now and they don't have a barbell and gym access, so I'm trying to provide more content to help them out, but also yourself if you land on this video looking for resistance band exercises. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. When we return, we're gonna have some upper body resistance band exercises to start building big guns, big chest, and a big back. Peace. Also, PS guys, as always, when you're getting into different exercise positions with a band, try to be strategic with how you're getting into them. Hopefully you got some ideas in this video because I've been snapped before. We've seen tons of videos of other people getting snapped before on gym fails, so resist the urge to get snapped in the face, be strategic with how you bring the band on, and train safe.